What's up, guys? Welcome back to our episode review of Loki. And today is the season finale of Loki, and it's episode 6 titled For All Time, Always. So, yeah, right off the bat, did I like this finale? Not so much, unfortunately. I feel like I might, I don't know. I know like a lot of people, I think, liked it. I didn't, but to get into the actual episode, of course, we finally learned who's behind all this. A lot of the theories were turned out to be true. It was Kang the Conqueror. So Jonathan Majors was lying back then when we asked him, "Are you in Loki?" And when he said, "Yeah, I'm not in Loki," it wasn't Loki. And so we learned a bit more about the whole history about what's going on with the TVA and stuff. So Kang, essentially, way in the 31st century, which is like Kang in the comics also, he discovered the multiverse. He learned there was like universes kind of just stacking on top of each other, and someone he made communication with the multiverse, or his alternate version of himself. And a couple more started learning about the multiverse, and they all started learning about each other, meeting each other, and they started just like converging, like sharing information and technology and helping to better their realities in society. But then, of course, unfortunately, bad stuff was going to happen inevitably, where there was one Kang who wanted to conquer more, just like Kang in the comics, so he started like conquering the multiverse, trying to conquer different universes. The multiverse war broke out, so that's all true. Which then finally led to this Kang in the episode to then simplify the timeline and make it one timeline and create the TVA. Well, no, sorry, I skipped a beat there. No, he discovered the creature Alioth, who we saw from the last episode, and he tamed it and used it and learned how we could, prune realities and create a singular timeline so there's no branching realities and such. And so, of course, he created the TVA, blah, blah, blah. They would go around time, making sure there's no branchings happening, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Now, Kang, the episode itself, he was very fun. He was a very, interesting villain. He was, very kind of, fun, had some good scenes. But there was also, he was not, threatening. He was, there was this, secret, side to him. I don't know how to really describe it, but, he did a good job. Jonathan Majors did a great job portraying the character. And so I'm excited to see more of him down the line in Ant-Man, the Wasp, Quantumania. But the overall episode, honestly, this whole episode overall was, I felt anticlimactic and unsatisfying to me. It wasn't that satisfying. I mean, I know we have Season 2 coming, that's been confirmed, but I don't know, it just didn't feel like this was the best ending I could have really asked for this season. It wasn't that satisfying because, I don't know, there's a couple things to it, I don't know, I felt like we were going to build to a bit more of a crazier ending, I guess, but I'm not saying it's not bad that we didn't really do that, but still, that's what I felt like. There's a couple other things that just didn't really feel right, so of course, Mobius goes back to the TVA, confronts Renslayer, and of course Renslayer still wanting to uphold the values and ideals of the TVA, not wanting to stop it, and such. And Mobius saying that we should, not do this, we should let people have free will and such. But then she goes through a door and vanishes, which we'll probably learn where she went in Season 2. But then we learned, of course, and with Mobius, that we saw he freed Hunter B-15, and she distracted a couple of the, time agents. Time agents took them to the Ohio in 2018, where we discover, the actual Renslayer, the actual Ravonna Renslayer, who is a principal in a school, so that's interesting. But I thought there was going to be a bigger thing they were going to do with that, but that's my problem with the episode. They made it seem like there was going to be something they were going to do with, showing the TVA agents, oh, here's Renslayer, the actual one, the one we've known as a variant, and she's lying to you all. But no, nothing was really done with that. I can see Renslayer, the one we've been following, vanishing, being set up for Season 2. I'm good with that. But why do we go here? I feel like there was more that they were trying to show. Maybe not, I don't know, but I just feel like there was some more that had to be shown with the principal Renslayer, but there wasn't, so we didn't get anything like that. So that kind of sucked. But the whole stuff with, Loki and Sylvie, also we learned Miss Minutes has actually been working with Kang the whole time, and even Renslayer doesn't know exactly everything about Miss Minutes, so that's interesting. But, Loki and Sylvie, Kang also tells them how, basically he's been, of course, making sure the sacred timeline has been sacred and not mischecked, and even when they try killing him, he keeps teleporting away just in time because he reveals that we learned that he's like knows everything about to happen because the entirety events that's transpired in the show he already knew about. He knew everything that was going to happen, so he knew every time Sylvie or Loki was going to try and slash him or cut him or stab him or whatever. So we knew when to get out just at the right time, when to like vanish so they couldn't kill him and such like that. So he basically said that even the show, even they said the fact that the Sacred Timeline was all planned out, but even this show was all planned out. Everything was meant to happen as it was. Like, Loki was supposed to meet up with Sylvie. Mobius and Loki and them, they were all going to go to the Void. All this stuff was meant to happen. It was all planned out. So, God, I've said this on my prior reviews that I'm not a fan of the whole predetermined fate thing. And this, even here now saying, even this, where you thought it was not predetermined fate, it is. Like, I'm not a fan of that whole story beat. And even then, there's other stuff about Kang, because he's saying that, because he's from the 31st century, so way into the future, like thousands of years in the future. So, like, it's super weird. I don't know if, because he said once the whole multiversal war happened, we have no idea how long it lasted, but once that happened, of course, he then made the Sacred Timeline. But I have no idea if that means, like, was everything in the MCU already planned out then? Like I have no clue. Like, I have no idea. Like, I'm assuming, at least I'm hoping is what I'm going to believe, because like I said, I don't like the whole story beat of predetermined fate thing. But yeah, I don't like that whole thing, so I'm assuming and hoping for my benefit that, the MCU wasn't planned out. It was like, that just happened naturally, but he was, I guess, stopping, too many, stopping other rallies to branch off from, what was happening one timeline. All I'm saying is that basically, to simplify it, he watched the timeline unfold. He just watched it. He didn't do anything. He just watched it unfold. And every time he started seeing, other branching parts come out, he just, got rid of them, stopping them from going forward. And he just let the timeline go on forward as it did. Maybe that's not the case. That's what I'm hoping for, at least. Because, like I said, I don't like him planning out the entirety of the MCU's universe. Hey, I forgot to say this in the actual review. I think it also basically confirmed my theory where I think that once whatever happens in End of Loki that messed up the multiverse, everything else going forward in Phase 4, it's post Endgame, which because Loki takes place started taking place somewhere in Endgame. I feel like everything else post Endgame going forward in the MCU in Phase 4, so stuff that takes place after the events of Endgame, so WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, Spider-Man No Way Home, Shang-Chi, all that stuff. It's that's all there's no one watching the timeline going forward. By that point, everything's just there's no one watching it or keeping an eye on it. It's just going forward on its own. And also Black Widow, I guess, too, because like I said, I don't believe I'm believing personally for myself that Kang was not controlling the timeline. He was just watching it unfold, and that was it. So yeah, back to the review. But then he also reveals that the reason why he has Loki and Sylvie here is that he wants them to take his place, because he's getting older, but he's not too, doesn't look old, but he's saying he's getting old. We have no idea how long he's been doing this, and he wants them to take his place so that his whole legacy of making and creating and protecting the Sacred Timeline can stay fulfilled. But if he says that if you guys don't take my place, then all of time will go crazy. We'll have the multiverse will open up, and hell breaks loose. You'll have multiple other Kangs, not like me, ones that are bad and the devil, basically, come and just start messing around and doing bad stuff, essentially. And they basically said, you're gonna have to kill me and then, stop all this, which Sylvie wants to do that, but Loki tries telling her not to do that, because he can tell it Kang's not lying, that if you kill him and there's no one to take his place after he dies, then yeah, the multiverse will go out of hand. Loki believes that. Sylvie does not care. She wants to kill Kang, and she thinks she's just doing this to take the throne, and he's telling her it's not the case. And then they kiss, which I hate. Oh my God, Marvel! Why are we doing this whole approach? Why did you guys insist on Loki and Sylvie, who's never Loki? They should get together. They should kiss. That'd be amazing. No, it's stupid. It's weird. It's gross. No, I don't care if it's a female version of him. It's still him. It's still Loki. Like it's. I hate it so badly. It's just weird. Like it's so weird. But then she just kicks Loki back to the TVA, kills Kang, and then the multiverse. Even before that, actually, I forgot to mention Kang. He didn't have everything planned out. There was a certain point that was not planned out, and once they got to it, we saw him like just kind of look around, and realize, oh, we're in the unknown. I have no idea what's going to happen now. As he then just like starts testing out by dropping a thing on his desk, realizing, yeah, that was not supposed to happen. So now that happens before they kill him, because they do kill him, Sylvie does. We already start seeing the branching of the timeline happening. So Sylvie, which then leads to, of course, once Sylvie does kill Kang, just gets out of control. There's like a lot of timeline branches now. They're across the red line, no going back, as Mobius says, and even Hunter B-15 says that's maybe not a bad thing. But, of course, but Loki, he goes to Mobius and Hunter, telling him, what exactly happened, what happened with him and Sylvie. They met the guy who's behind all this, but Mobius does not know who he is. He just asks him what apartment he's from, and that's the apartment he's from, sorry, not apartment. And then he realizes that he's not in his TVA, he's known. Sylvie accidentally kicked him to another branch reality, because, like I said, we already saw them branching off before she killed Kang, so now she accidentally kicked Loki into another reality by accident. So Loki's now in another reality, because he sees that where usually there was the statue of the Timekeepers in the TVA's library section, there's a giant statue of Kang. So the multiverse has now been broken open, so this will lead into multiple MCU projects coming out. So we have Marvel's What If as the next show coming out on August 11th. So that will be next thing we see. That'll be the first taste we get of the multiverse branch out, alternate realities. Then we have Spider-Man No Way Home and Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. And, of course, Loki Season 2 coming out some point. I'm assuming maybe next year, I don't know. I think they're in pre-production now, at least. So they could start shooting it by the end point this year. Like maybe, I don't know, a few more months from now. It could come out near the end of next year, possibly. I have no clue. I just don't know. Because there's a lot of other Marvel shows coming out next year also, so who knows what's going to happen there with that when that comes out. I have no clue. And of course, the show ends. The after credits scene of the show is also just them, saying Loki Season 2 is happening. Like he will return for Season 2. I think it's kind of a waste for a after credits scene. Like you don't need to make an after credits scene to say come back for Season 2. Like it could be anything else. Why that? I think it's kind of a waste as an after credits scene, to be honest. So there was only one after credits scene in this whole show then, technically. So yeah, honestly, overall, this episode was not great, honestly. I felt, like I said, I felt very anticlimactic and unsatisfied. There were a lot of things, like just, I don't know, I expected more. I felt like there was more coming from the prior episodes. We didn't really get that. And the other thing I just don't like about it, because, like, to go over the show overall, I guess, now, the first season, as it is, I'm just, like, look, I know a lot of people love the show, and there are good things in this show. Like, I do like the acting's all great, the set design's great, the friendship between Loki and Mobius is great also. And I love all the crazy, weird, wacky stuff they've done, like when they brought in all those other Lokis, that was fun. And a lot of the cool stuff with the TVA, like when they first find Loki and hit him and he like slows down, that kind of cool stuff. There's a lot in it that I just didn't like, not honestly. Like some of the writing was not as gripping or as interesting. Like it didn't hook me all the time, the writing. I'm not a fan of the Sylvie character. Like I said before, I know a lot of people do like her. I can see why. Like her backstory is good, but I just couldn't get into her ever. Like every time she's on screen, like I probably said in the last review, but I feel like when her and Mobius met up with Loki and the other Lokis, I feel like it slowed down a bit. Cause I'm like, I'd rather watch Loki and the other Lokis or Loki and Mobius, not Loki and Sylvie. I don't think she's that interesting in character. I just don't like her. I just never got into the character every time she's on screen. It didn't help that the first proper episode she was in was episode 3, which was Lamantis. It's the most boring episode of the show. So, as a lot of other things, like I felt like this show, from trailers and marketing, it looked like it was maybe more of a more crazy and zany show. It didn't really feel like that. I felt like there was a lot more crazy they could have done with the show. They didn't really, so I felt a little disappointed by that. And like I said, I hate the Sylvie and Loki relationship thing. There's just stuff. It's honestly the whole show, the whole season was okay. This is my I'm sorry, it's my least favorite of all the Marvel shows so far. Like Falcon Winter Soldier's my favorite, WandaVision's my second favorite. This is my least favorite so far. It just was not that interesting. I'm not even really that excited for season 2. I'm gonna watch it because I watch everything in the MCU, but I'm not that excited for it. Honestly, it's not. Yeah, I don't know. But where does it go next? Who really knows? We know Kang's gonna be in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, but not the Kang in this show. That's another thing. Also, I should want to say, if you have Kang here, I feel like he has to be like the blue-faced character with like the purple helmet and stuff, which like he had sort of the color scheme going from the comics, but it looked like a normal dude. Which I know like we're gonna see Kang again. This probably isn't. This wasn't the main Kang. We'll probably see a lot of our Kangs for all we know. But still, I feel like if you show Kang, we should at least see him with the blue face and such. Like, I don't know, that's how I felt. And we're seeing him in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, so who knows what that Kang will be. It's possible that Kang might be the next big villain of the MCU. I think that's the idea. He might be one of the next big villains. So we'll probably see him pop up a lot. So voice crack there a bit. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. Overall, this just was the episode was fine for me. The whole season overall was okay. Was not that big into it. It's fine. I'm not crazy about it. But yeah, that's all for me for Loki. I'm telling the comment section down below, what did you think of Loki? So if you're wondering if I'm going to review the other Marvel shows coming out, like What If next month, I probably won't do weekly reviews of What If. Like I'm still not entirely sure, but it's more close to I probably won't do a weekly review of it. Mostly because like it just started to become very difficult. Like during the reviews of this, it became very difficult to keep up doing the reviews of this and like making sure I get them all out in time and such. So it's just hard to maintain doing these weekly reviews of these shows. Like I did one of WandaVision, Falcon, Winter Soldier, and this. After a while, it is kind of hard to keep up with. So who knows? I'm probably not doing a What If review. If anything, I'll do like a full series review once it's done. So I won't be doing weekly reviews. So yeah, probably won't do weekly reviews. Yeah. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Tell me in the comment section down below. What did you think of Loki? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you like love it? Did you think it's fine? Like me, I think it's very okay. Nothing that special, I believe, personally for me. Yeah, tell me what you thought of it down below, and I'll see you guys later for another video at some point. Who knows? But yeah, see you guys all later. Goodbye. Hey, if you like that video, guess what? YouTube put out a video just for you on the left. Or, if you want to take my advice, watch the most recent video on the right. Thanks for watching.